Oh my! Have you heard? The new Micarta Sodbusters are here from Great Eastern Cutlery. Stick around, guys. I got one in front of the camera. Let's check it out. Hi gang, Rob here. It's the evening of 12 May 2014. Please excuse the froggy throat. I happen to have the misfortune of catching a late spring cold. 80 degrees and a runny nose and a scratchy throat are not fun. However, I will not be deterred. There is news in the knife world in the last week or two. Great Eastern Cutlery, our friends in Titusville, Pennsylvania, have released their bullnose sodbuster knife in a classic handle material. Actually, 3 classic handle materials. 3 varieties of micarta. 2 canvas micarta varieties. This beautiful sort of OD green. And then a natural, which is like a light tan. And then a red linen micarta. Aren't they cool? Wow. This is the number 71 pattern in the Farm and Field series, which is kind of a separate entity. You know, the 3 forms of GEC that we normally see are the GEC line, the stainless steel line, the TheApostleP cutlery, which is sort of the more basic series in 1095 carbon steel, and then the Northfield unexcelled, which are generally carbon steel with a higher level of finish than the TheApostleP line. The Farm and Field are just what you would think. They're the basic patterns. Are the Sodbuster, the Hay and Helper, which is kind of a modified hawkbill in the number 47 pattern. This 71 Sodbuster is a great modern interpretation of a very old pattern. Generally, you see this in black Delrin, orange Delrin, and then that knife bright acrylic, that glow in the dark handle material. Every now and then, though, Great Eastern Cutlery will release a special factory order, as these are, in micarta. And frankly, I saw these for a few days at collectorknives.net and Knives Ship Free, and I really wasn't going to get one. I've had 2 Sodbusters in my hand over the last month or so. The blue one that Chris sent to Toad Sticker that passed through my hands in time for a video. And then, a month or so ago, the black Delrin GEC Sodbuster that Campfire Talk purchased new, and I sharpened for him. The reason I had to have this green one is because if you guys know Campfire Talk, you know he is the green knife guy. And he is a huge fan of the Sodbuster. But, he plans his knife purchases very, very carefully. And having bought the black one, a green micarta Sodbuster was not next on his list. And showing great discipline, he has refrained from buying one. So I thought, you know what? Somebody in the family's got to have one. So I went ahead and purchased one. And in my will, Camp, this knife will have your name on it. And since I'm older than you and not nearly as good a shape, you'll probably get to spend some time with it before you go home to be with the Lord. Who knows, by then you might have one of your very own. I did add this little chunk of leather lanyard. Just gives you a little added purchase when opening the knife. And, if you're back on it, gives you a little pinky hold. Not that you need to be. Isn't it beautiful, though? There are some differences as we take a sort of close pan of the knife, dimensionally and construction-wise, between the Micarta Sodbusters, or bull noses from GEC, and the Delrin-handled knives. At least specific to the canvas micarta varieties, the green and the tan are natural. If you're paying close attention and you've seen videos of the Delrin Sodbusters, you know something's different with that rivet. Notice that sort of brown or copperish cast to the flange of the rivet. And then the center pin of the rivet is a little proud and a little sharp. The reason for that is that there's a step in the process of a Delrin handled or linen micarta sodbuster that cannot happen on these canvas micarta models. There's a final polish with a soft wheel and compound that happens to the Delrin and the linen micarta models. Doesn't work on the canvas. The polishing compound actually gets embedded in these canvas fibers and it just wrecks the look of the knife. So that bronzish flange can't be polished, and then the sharp corners can't be polished off the pin. So you feel that pin sticking up and it will catch the skin. Although the counterbore in the micarta makes the pin just about flush. If you have your thumb or your finger just right, you will find it catching that edge just a little bit. The other side effect of that process deviation is that the handle's a little thicker on these canvas models, which I kind of like. It fills the hand a little more than the Delrin knives do. Doesn't make it any less pocketable. What a cool knife, huh? You know, I'm generally into the more decorative traditionals with bolsters, but this is such a great working man's knife. Don't even need a pocket slip really to keep this knife looking good. This 01 steel is going to develop a patina as soon as you start using it. Mine's brand new. It's a knife that you're not really going to worry about getting scratched up or scuffed up in your pocket, jingling around with your keys or your change. It's just made to work and get old gracefully, show its character. What a beauty. What a great old pattern is the Sodbuster. I was doing a little research on it. This pattern is so old nobody knows how old it is for sure. Began being referred to as a Sodbuster in the early 20th century in America. Before that, there's actually a knife that looks very much like this in the Daniel Boone Museum. It was referred to as a clasp knife, so that gets you to what, the early 19th century. And it bears a striking resemblance to an old German pattern prior to that called a folding butcher's knife. So whenever people needed a slip joint folding knife that would just flat work, some variation of this pattern was generally used. I think the bullnose engraving on this blade is pretty descriptive, don't you think? Just a nice gentle drop point with a pretty cool swedge in it, barely perceptible, but it's there. Lots of belly, super thin behind the edge. Of course, as with most Great Eastern Cutlery knives, this one came sharper than most, however, but they do come edge ready. And this has a little better edge on it now than it did out of the tube. 01 tool steel, if I didn't mention that, I did mention it. Super high carbon. Virtually no corrosion protection. Let me do a better S-curve than that. There we go. This steel is made to work. made to show its age. Easy enough to sharpen. I could do this all night. Wow. What a mess. I mean, what a mess, guys. Let me do a little housekeeping. That was just too much fun. You guys know I like to cut paper, but this is a whole different level. About 55 bucks from collectorknives.net. I think they still have some green in stock. Mr. Latham would love to have your business and send you a Great Eastern Cutlery Bullnose Sodbuster in Micarta, and maybe send you a Bible tract along in the box. I love it when he does that. Haven't seen too many videos out yet on this knife, so I thought I would tempt you. You guys who love these old traditionals. Yes, sir. That's all for tonight, my friends. My voice is not going to make it any longer. For some of you, that will be good news. What a 12, 13-minute video. All right. Well, hey, grace to you and peace, my friends, from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. And remember, the Word is sharp.